joy with all of you. We had a wonderful roaring kirtan, and the whole day we were, immersed in bliss and bliss. And then 2 days later, we had Prabhupada's Vijayotsava. We did on Abhishek. It was a, indescribable thing. Extremely satisfying, very blissful. Devotees were all over the moon. Such a wonderful experience. So probably in my life, I was telling Madhu Pandit Prabhu and the other devotees also that this was the happiest day in my life. I can say it with certainty. Such great joy. It's indescribable. Anyway, so now we come to, you all have been seeing in the aftermath of that, what has been happening. War has been declared, and a new kind of war, social media war, going bang, bang, bang. So we are also, no punches held back. We are also giving back. All of you would have seen the recent videos. We have also started attacking them. We have started asking them very uncomfortable questions. So anyway, picture abhi baki hai. We have just started. Now more and more missiles will come, and they won't have any answers. So anyway, so they are also started coming up with newer and newer reports and theories and all that. So anyway, so Nandakishore Prabhu had shared with me a couple of quotes which he wanted to discuss. Should we discuss that, or does anybody have any specific anything else to discuss or ask?
We can start with that, Prabhu, and I'm sure devotees will start asking questions.
Fine. So I've shared my screen. I think this is visible to everyone. Okay. So first question was, there are some good devotees on the other side, and they seem to be very sincerely practicing Krishna consciousness and preaching, and are inspiring several devotees to join and practice Krishna consciousness. Some of them are gurus, and some of them are not yet gurus. They seem to be successful in practicing and preaching Krishna consciousness, even though they don't accept Srila Prabhupada as the current Diksha Guru. How do we see this situation? Well, you see, there are many innocent devotees. They have all been kept in ignorance in the dark. To cut a long story short, practically nobody is aware of the history of ISKCON. From 1967 onwards, how Prabhupada had to really face so many adversities in ISKCON from his own leaders. How several times they tried to overthrow Prabhupada and take over his position as Acharya, multiple times between 67 and 77. And then after 77, the kind of torments that the devotees had to undergo in ISKCON. When Prabhupada left the planet, Prabhupada clearly said there were about 10,000 of his disciples. Of course, on the GBC's official website, they have captured only 4,300 names approximately. But Prabhupada himself said 10,000. Even if you assume 4,800 or 4,500 or 4,300 or whatever their official website says. That was in 1977. Today, if you see in ISKCON, there are hardly about 100 of them left behind who are originally priests, who are originally initiated by Prabhupada. The rest of all of them left the movement. Some of them blooped. Some of them could not follow the principles and they left. But that was a small percentage. Majority of the exodus was because of this bogus guru system. They all revolted against the bogus guru system. They were all expelled. So why I'm telling you all this is, after 1977, these new gurus, they filled the movement with their own disciples. And for that, they brought out a propaganda book called Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. And with that propaganda book, they established to the newcomers, because they did not know anything about Prabhupada, they had not seen Prabhupada, they had not met Prabhupada, they did not know anybody else. So these people presented this book, how these 11 people are exalted, pure devotees, descended from the spiritual world to assist Prabhupada. That kind of propaganda was built up into that book. And so the new people who all joined, they looked at these people in awe and reverence. And slowly these people fell, new people came, they filled up with their own disciples. So what happened from 1967 till about 87 is totally hidden from the devotees' eyes. So the people who are in ISKCON today, 99% of them are either disciples of those gurus or they are disciples of the disciples. So they are far removed from the reality. They don't know the history, what all went on, how these things came about. They have bought into the very simplistic, narrative built up that Madhu Pandit suddenly in 96, he met Krishnakant Desai. He got initiated by him and he bought into his idea of a quick thing and they started this whole thing. So this one temple, they have gone against us. This one man, that's all. That's the narrative they have built and sold to their devotees. So they are naturally thinking they don't know the history. If they come to know the history, they will all be shattered. That's the reality. So, as far as those good devotees are concerned, it may be Prabhupada's will that the Supreme Court has come in our favor now. So, now we are started talking about all their deviations. We have started asking them very hard questions, which we know they don't have an answer. Because of which what's happening is the devotees, sincere devotees in their side will start seeing the truth. And when they start seeing the truth, they will either question them or they will switch over to our side. So now the field, you have to understand, it's not like before. Before May of 16th, 2025, even if there were devotees in the other group, even if they knew the truth, they were very fearful. If we are expelled, then where will we go? Now it is different. If they expel, you expel, no problem. We have got ISKCON Bangalore. They'll come to our group temples. So the momentum is going to shift. There is going to be a sea change in how the devotees approach the Guru issue from now on. That's my, you can call it speculation or my feeling or whatever. That's the way I look at it. So we will know as things roll out, as time goes by, we will know what are the implications of this Supreme Court case, and sincere devotees will see the truth and they will come around. That's the way I see it. I hope that answers that question. The second question is, it looks like the only issue with the other side is when a guru falls down. Otherwise, they are also essentially following the same principles, practices, etc. Well, you can look at it that way, but I can give you a couple of examples with a disclaimer that don't equate those devotees with the negative characters which I'm going to describe. That's not the idea. If you look at when the Pandavas were in forest exile and in Ajnatavasa, what happened? Duryodhana was ruling over. So when Duryodhana was ruling over, there was no problem in the kingdom. He was also going, protecting the cows, taking care of the citizens, ensuring economic development. He was doing all that. I mean, the citizens were not suffering or anything under him. But what is the reality? Krishna said he is adharmic, he has to be replaced. This is not what I want. Similarly, you take Ravana. Ravana's Lanka was known as Swarna Lanka. Swarna Lanka means every house was built of gold here. That was the kind of economic development. Even today, you go to Dubai also, you don't get that kind of opulence where the facade of the house is gold. You will get glass, you will get marble, you will get granite. You don't get gold today. Ravana's Lanka was like that. The house facades were built of gold. So people were all opulent, citizens were all happy. So we can ask why Ramachandra had to go and displace him. He was ruling over nicely only, no? Point is, you have to understand whether things are going on nicely, comfortably is not the point. Whether the person Krishna has nominated or decided that this person is going to be the chief person, whether it is the ruler of the kingdom or the chief of the ashrama. Which of them is chosen by Krishna, that person has to be on the ruling post. You cannot have anybody else. This is the reality. So Krishna has chosen that Srila Prabhupada only has to be the Diksha Guru. The other gurus may be there. Externally, everything may be going nicely. But they are not pleasing Krishna. Our movement is directly meant for pleasing Krishna. So, yasya prasadat bhagavat prasadaha. If you are pleasing Prabhupada, you're pleasing Krishna. Now, Prabhupada has said, I want to remain as the Diksha Guru. You take him aside and put somebody else on that seat. Is it pleasing to Prabhupada? It's not pleasing to Prabhupada. If it's not pleasing to Prabhupada, it's not pleasing to Krishna. Therefore, that system has to go. It cannot stay. You have to understand this. Another thing is, externally, a lot of things seem or appear to be doing very well. This material world is like that. It always gives an illusion of good things happening, even in our individual levels, at the level of karmis, at the level of nations, at the international level. You look at UN, United Nations, you go to that building, wow, what a building. All the flags flying there. It looks wonderful. But you go inside, you dig into United Nations, what is there? Nothing is united. It is disunited nations. This is the reality, no? Maya is like that. Maya will always present a facade which is looking absolutely beautiful. You look at any human being. Now there is some gathering of all movie stars. Once in a while, some picture comes out in the media. So you see all those glittering, glamorous personalities are going and standing there. It looks like, wow, beautiful people, opulent people. It looks so beautiful. But you dig a little inside, what is there? It's a body of skin, and inside the covering, stool, urine, flesh, blood, these things only are there. Moment you peel off that one layer of skin, what will happen? You will vomit. That's the reality. But externally, so beautiful. You see, this is the nature of this material world. It will present a beautiful picture. Dig inside, it will be stool and urine. This is the reality even in the Guru system. You dig into their Guru system, full of problems. So much politics, envy, backbiting, groupism, factionism. They have innumerable problems to deal with. So I don't want to go into all those details. This is the reality. So we are in bliss. They are in distress. This is the reality. Externally, everybody puts up a show. Like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, there was this circus and everybody was lined up for the main show of the circus. And then in that main show, only one person could go in at a time. So the first person went in. After a few minutes, he came out. Second person was standing there. He asked him, how was the show? He said, excellent. I've never seen anything like this. Don't miss it. So the second man went in with great anticipation. And the door closed behind him. And everything was pitch dark. And then suddenly he saw one man, really hefty guy standing there with a whip in his hand. And he started whipping him black and blue. And then finally he was begging, leave me, enough, I'm not able to tolerate. Then this guy who was whipping stopped and he said, go. And this man, somehow he came out. Then he saw the third man is standing in the line. The third man asked him, how was the show? So this man gave a great smile and I said, super show. You will never see anything like this in the life. Don't miss it. It is worth every paisa vasool. Go in. And he left. This is the material world. So don't go by externals. Go by what is pleasing to Prabhupada and Krishna. This is the reality. Okay. So in this following letter, Srila Prabhupada seems to have already given authorization for his disciples to act as gurus themselves after his departure. You can accept disciples. You can accept disciples without any limitation. So this is a letter to Tushta Krishna, December 2, 1975. Keep trained up very rigidly and then you are bona fide guru and you can accept disciples on the same principle. But as a matter of etiquette, it is a custom that during the lifetime of your spiritual master, you bring the prospective disciples to him, and in his absence or disappearance, you can accept disciples without any limitation. There, Prabhupada is given the order. This is the law of disciplic succession. Over. No July 9th order, no May 20th conversation. I want to see my disciples become bona fide spiritual master. Ho gaya, khatam. What more to discuss? And spread Krishna consciousness very widely. That will make me and Krishna very happy. So nothing to discuss here. We'll go on to the next conversation. In this conversation, Srila Prabhupada says that the spiritual master authorizes every disciple, but it is up to the disciple to come to the level of qualification. So does it mean the authorization to become is already given and the disciple just has to become qualified? So this is a room conversation in San Diego. Don't get carried away. I'll come back to that letter. I will explain it to you. Why I didn't explain it is because all that explanation will come out now in this conversation. That's why. Okay, so don't worry. Prabhupada, so far designation is concerned, the spiritual master authorizes every one of his disciples. Ho gaya na, ab kya hai? No more argument. Ho gaya, khatam. All rhetorics demolished. But it is up to the disciple to carry out the order, able to carry out or not. It is not the spiritual master is partial. He designates one and rejects other. He may do that. If the other is not qualified, he can do that. But actually his intention is not like that. He wants that each and every one of his disciples become as powerful as he is, or more than that. That is his desire. Just like father wants every son to be as qualified or more qualified than the father. Ho gaya, we are all, Prabhupada is our spiritual father, we are spiritual sons and daughters. Ho gaya. Now, Prabhupada said son. So, Matajis, you keep aside. All Prabhujis, we are all sons of Prabhupada. Ho gaya, we are all gurus. Fine. But it is up to the student or to the son to raise himself to that standard. Atre Rishi, yes, I understand. Prabhupada, if you are incapable of raising yourself to the standard of becoming spiritual master, that's not your spiritual master's fault. That is your fault. He wants, just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Amara Ajnai Guru Haya. By my order, every one of you become Guru. Now, if one cannot carry out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then how he can become Guru? The first qualification is that he must be able to carry out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then he becomes Guru. So, that carrying out the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu depends on one's personal capacity. Amara Ajnai Guru Haya. Acceptance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna, blah, 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 all that. That is something unconnected. So now, come down to the earth, come down to reality. Let us understand the facts. So this conversation, actually, this room conversation, I will open up. There is a little more precursor to this, which is very interesting. June 29, 1972. It's very important to read that. So, yeah. This is in San Diego, right? Atre Rishi starts that conversation. Let us see where it is. I'll zoom in, don't worry. All right. How come it's not here? Did I get the wrong one? Let me see. Okay, I have another file where I have that conversation. I'll open that. Okay. Correct. This is awesome. Yes, this one. Okay, so the beginning of it goes like this. Atre Rishi, how many qualifications does a spiritual master have in terms of being a spiritual master? Prabhupada, one qualification, he is a devotee of God, that's all. Atre Rishi, also is he designated? Prabhupada, huh? Atre Rishi, does he have to be designated by the former spiritual master? He has to be devotee, Prabhupada. Oh yes, oh yes. Atre Rishi, he has to be devotee, surrendered and designated. That is, identifies disciplic succession, both surrender and designation. Prabhupada, and by the result. Atre Rishi, and the result of activity. Prabhupada, so far designation is concerned, the spiritual master authorizes every one of his disciples. But it is up to the disciple to carry out the order, able to carry out or not. It is not that spiritual master is partial. He designates one and rejects other. He may do that. If the other is not qualified, he can do that. Meaning, he may reject. But actually, his intention is not like that. He wants that each and every one of his disciples should become as powerful as he is or more than that. That is his desire. Just like father wants every son to be as qualified or more qualified than the father. Okay, so let me explain. There are three things which you have to keep in mind. One is, as Prabhupada is mentioning here, intention or desire. Like Prabhupada is mentioning, he wants, spiritual master wants that each and every one of his disciples become as powerful as he is or more than that. That is his desire. So there is a desire or an intent. This is one thing. Second thing is, there is a principle. Principle means, for example, I'll give you. Suppose I say, every Indian can become the president of India. Is it true or not? It is true. It is a principle. So the moment let us say tomorrow on TV or on newspaper, I make an announcement, everyone can become president of India. So when anybody reads that, does he think, oh, that means I'm president of India? Does anybody think? Nobody thinks like that. Why? Because when I say every Indian can become a president, that means it is a principle. Principle is anybody who is an Indian can become president. But actually to be president, you need an order. Order in the form of majority votes of the members of the parliament. If I get that majority order, then I can be the president. So for a principle to act, to become active, what is required? An order is required. So we have an intent or a desire. We have a principle, and third is order. So intent or desire also cannot activate without an order. Principle also cannot activate without an order. Order is what is actually brings into action the principle and the desire. I hope I'm making myself clear. Is it confusing or is it clear?
It's clear, Prabhu. Yeah.
Okay. So good. So far, so good. So when we analyze all these codes, we have to see under which category it falls. Does it fall under the category of desire? Does it fall under the category of principle, or does it fall under the category of an order? Because here, very clearly, Atreya Rishi, what did he say? Does he have to be designated by the former spiritual master? Prabhupada said, oh yes, oh yes. And all of you must have already be aware, there is that Bhagavad Gita, chapter 7, verse 2, where Prabhupada said that one can become Guru only on the or when he is ordered by his Guru. Otherwise, nobody can become Guru. I think all of you are aware of that. So I'll just pull it out. Yeah, so you are all aware of that. Here it is. Let me zoom in so that all of you can see. So an Indian man was asking Prabhupada, when did you become the spiritual leader of Krishna consciousness? Prabhupada said, one, my Guru Maharaj ordered me. This is the Guru Parampara. The Indian did it. Prabhupada, try to understand. Don't go very speedily. A Guru can become Guru when he is ordered by his Guru. That's all. Otherwise, nobody can become Guru. And then again, the Indian man comes back. When did he tell you to? Prabhupada, what is this business? When did he tell me? And why shall I disclose it to you? It is so very insignificant thing that I have to explain to you. Indian man, no, I'm curious when. Prabhupada, you should be curious within your limit. You should know that one can become one can become Guru when he is ordered by his Guru this much. So it is very clear that a disciple can become a Guru only when he is ordered by his Guru. Otherwise, nobody can become Guru. So if we look at this conversation, coming back to this conversation, Prabhupada clearly has said, does he have to be designated by the former spiritual master? Prabhupada said, oh yes, oh yes. So, but then before that, Prabhupada said, what is the qualification of a spiritual master? One qualification is a devotee of God, that's all. So, why suddenly this designation is coming? Because here, Prabhupada is talking of a principle. One qualification, any devotee of God can become spiritual master. Like any Indian can become president. But that principle, beyond that, there are other things. Principle is there. Then you have to be designated also. You have to be ordered also. And Further, Prabhupada says here that just like father wants every son to be as qualified or more qualified than the father, but it is up to the student or the son to raise himself to that standard. If you are incapable of raising yourself to the standard of becoming spiritual master, that is not your spiritual master's fault, it is your fault. So, Prabhupada is speaking of the third thing, qualification. You need to be qualified. You need to be qualified. The principle that any devotee can become spiritual master is not an actable principle. You also need an order and you have to be qualified. Okay. Now we come back to the first quote, which, where we firmly established that the Guru system in ISKCON is the right thing and the Ritviks are demolished. Let us come back to that letter of 2nd December. Prabhupada is saying, first sentence, keep trained up very rigidly and then you are bona fide Guru and you can accept disciples on the same principle. So, Prabhupada has used the word here, principle. That means, keep trained up very rigidly, means if you are qualified, then you are bona fide Guru and then you can accept disciples. This is the principle. If you are qualified, you can accept disciple. This is one principle. If you are a devotee, you can become a Guru. That's another principle. You understand? These are all principles. But principles, like we said, it has to be followed up with an order to make it come into action. Principle will simply sit there unless there is an order. So the first sentence is a principle, not an order. So we'll keep it aside. But as a matter of etiquette, it is a custom that during the lifetime of your spiritual master, you bring the prospective disciples to him. And in his absence or disappearance, you can accept disciples without any limitation. This is the law of disciplic succession. So law of disciplic succession means this is one more principle. So principle again cannot act without an order. So this also is not an actionable part of the letter. Then the last portion. I want to see my disciples become bona fide spiritual master and spread Krishna consciousness very widely. That will make me and Krishna very happy. What category does this fall to? It falls under desire or intent, like Prabhupada said earlier. So, desire or intent, is it enough? Order is required. Order is not there. So, therefore, this whole letter, if you see, there are two principles which Prabhupada is talking about and one, intent or desire. There is no order. Now, you analyze July 9th directive. Does it fall under principle? No, it is not talking about principle. Is it talking about Prabhupada's desire? No, it is not talking about Prabhupada's desire. Then what is it? It is an order. Therefore, you have to follow the July 9th directive. You don't have any other alternative. All these codes will fall into either category of principle or it will fall into the category of a desire or intent, or it will simply mention what are the qualifications required. So ultimately, you don't have any orders. If it is in the category of order only, you can take it and say, yes, this is Prabhupada's order, we have to follow it. I hope this is clear. So, Ritviks are not demolished. Gurus are demolished. Unfortunately, plate is reversed.
So,
okay,
sorry. I had one thing to add over here. Huh?
Yes, please. Go ahead.
That April 1977 conversation between Tamal Krishna Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada, right?
Yeah.
There is, I mean, it is just few months before this. Just imagine April, May, and June, July. I mean, we're talking about May, June, July, 3 months before, the
April 22nd.
And that to April 22nd, imagine, right? Even more, it should reduce. Direct conversation where Prabhupada is clearly telling that, all of you GBC men are conditioned souls. And
Tamal Krishna said that. Tamal Krishna said that.
Yeah.
Tamal Krishna said that, and Prabhupada said yes.
Yes.
Tamal said, it is very clear to me that all your, all my God brothers, we are all conditioned souls and we cannot become Guru.
Yeah. And Prabhupada is telling, yes, when you become qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Prabhu.
Yeah. And so, I mean, that is so obvious over there. And actually, if you go listen to the 1990 Ritwik debate in San Diego, the Gauri Das Prabhu and Yashodanandan Prabhu, different Yashodanandan Prabhu, who were there with Prabhupada in Mayapur at that time, are clearly telling, that there was constant discussion going on about this Ritwik. After this meeting happened, Tamal Krishna Maharaj came out. Why don't you read this, Prabhu? Yeah.
Yeah, Tamal Krishna is saying, well, I have studied myself and all of your disciples, and it is clear fact that we are all conditioned souls. So we cannot be Guru. Maybe one day it may be possible, but not, but not now. That one day came in March of 1978. And Prabhupada, you see, again, Prabhupada states that designation thing, what we discussed with Atreya Rishi. Yes, I shall choose some Guru. I shall say, now you become Acharya, you become authorized. I'm waiting for that. So you see, Prabhupada is saying, I shall say, that means designation is required, order is required. And Prabhupada is saying, I'm waiting for that. That means intention, desire is there. You become all Acharya, retire completely. But training must be complete, meaning you have to be qualified. So Tamal Krishna is saying, when Prabhupada is saying training must be complete, process of purification must be there. Prabhupada, oh yes, must be there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
And
to
then
you, Vikram Prabhu.
that Gauridas Prabhu is very clearly telling that after this May 20th conversation happened, what happened? After the July 9th, this thing, what happened? Because he was there. And
Yeah.
he's actually telling that I pressed the button on the record on the what is that dictaphone machine when the conversation is being recorded. He said, "I am the one who pressed the button. That cassette is not there now. Where is it?" He's asking. Because he's saying Prabhupada actually sat down and discussed this at length. It is not that, it was just this thing, it was, again, the question is this. We also say, right, Falena Parichiyate.
Yeah.
Right after that, you can ask anybody and the other camp also. They will say, yes, yes, we did a mistake for the first 10 years or 12 years or whatever. And then now again, yes, 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 we did a mistake and we're changing. Like every few years, they're saying, yes, 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 we made a mistake, we're changing, we're changing. But it's very clear you disobeyed the orders of your guru. In 1980, in that Pyramid House conversation between Tamal Krishna Goswami and a bunch of devotees, and the devotees who were present in that room are talking,
Yeah.
and saying, uh, we were there. It was 1980. Tamal Krishna Maharaj was with us, and he directly told us that we were never authorized to become gurus. It's the biggest mistake I've ever done in my life.
He said that.
He himself is openly telling, and you can see the result of it, right? The result of what happened to this thing. Okay, just imagine. Tamal Krishna Maharaj is very unfortunate what happened, but he met with such a ghastly accident and
Yeah,
passed
yeah.
away.
Karma
When
has
he
to
was,
come.
huh?
Karma has to, it'll come, no, it'll attack.
And what happened to each one of those gurus? This thing, Jayatirtha, what happened to him? He was
Appa.
beheaded.
Terrible.
Just every one of them, Hansaduta Maharaj, he fell down and he immediately accepted, I did a mistake. I never was supposed to be Bhiman, never. These are the 11 appointed people. They themselves are openly coming and telling, we did a mistake. Why are we not listening to them? Because they are the 11 people, right? Hansaduta is one of the 11 people. Immediately, within few years, is coming and telling, oh my God, we did a mistake. We were never appointed. That is why we are going through all this thing. And he's coming and begging forgiveness from all the Vaishnavas, saying, I did this mistake. Please forgive me and all this. Why are we discounting all of that?
Shall I tell you one more thing? we can discount whatever Tamal Krishna said because he was suspended at that time, right? And later on, he changed his stance also. He reversed his stance, whatever he said here. Actually, Prabhupada never appointed any gurus. He didn't appoint 11 gurus. He appointed 11 Ritviks. He appointed 11 Ritviks. That was his statement. He never appointed them gurus. But at the end of the conversation, he goes on to say that every disciple gets the right to become this one the moment the father leaves. Something like that, he says. I'll show you that also. That's also there. Somewhere it's there. Anyway, he says in the same conversation, moment the father leaves, then the son has the right to take up the father's position. So every disciple can become a guru. That also he says in this. Okay. So Tamal Krishna's is a little this way, that way also. If you take Hansaduta, they will tell Hansaduta fell down. So after falling down, what is his credibility? How can you listen to it? They will discredit him like that. I'll tell you another instance. Rameshwara Swami, 1980. He was a guru. He was an acharya. He was in good standing. He had not fallen down. 1980, in the Los Angeles temple, where he was overseeing and he was the temple president there, head of BBT and all that. 1980, he conducted a Ritvik initiation. He actually conducted a Ritvik initiation. The devotees who got initiated at that time, they tell Rameshwar Swami sat in the fire sacrifice. After the fire sacrifice, he sat on the Vyasasana and he told, I am just a representative of Prabhupada. All of you are Prabhupada's disciples. He openly announced. Immediately what happened? All the GBCs landed up there and they threatened Rameshwar Swami. If you don't withdraw your Ritvik initiation, your BBT service will be taken away from you and you'll be thrown out. Yeah. So he had to retract. He was forced to go back and call all those disciples and tell them, sorry, I made a mistake. You are my disciples. And then Rameshwar Swami wrote 3 papers. He engaged his disciples or other devotees and wrote 3 papers about how they are not qualified to be gurus. And he presented it to the GBC. GBC fired him. And they told him, if you don't correct yourself, you are going to get thrown out. And they told him, we are giving you an order. You have to go back and write another paper. Take back all these papers, write another paper about how the guru system is authorized. So he went back. Rameshwar went back. And then what he did, he told his devotees, collect all the highest quotes about guru. How he's Uttamadhikari, he's Nikunja Yono, Ratikeli, all those kind of quotes you get and make a paper about how guru, this is the qualification of a guru. So his thinking was, if I present this, then they will come to their senses. Are Baba, I'm not on this level, right? I mean, Nikunja Yono, Ratikeli and all those things, we all know where we are here. So he took that paper and went to the GBC and presented it. And what did the GBC do? They patted him on his back and he said, now you're on the right path. They clapped for him. And Rameshwar Swami said, that day I lost faith in the GBC. And from that day, my sadhana went down and my whole, spiritual life went into a spiral and I blooped. And now somehow I'm trying to gather my spiritual life back and try to come on track. But despite all this, I never lost faith in Prabhupada. This is what Rameshwar Swami himself says.
And Rameshwar Swami was so highly regarded by Prabhupada. He did so much service for, the BBT and this and all that. I mean, these are all important people in the movement who are clearly coming and telling that what exactly happened. And generally, they don't want to listen to them. They don't want to listen to this thing. And anyway,
they will see anybody talks like this, no? They will assassinate their character and discredit them.
Correct.
But what is their character? That nobody talks about. Who are you to talk about somebody's character? They have no character, people. Unfortunately, that's the reality. And of course, Rameshwar Swami also did some offenses against Prabhupada. He should not have done those things. Anyway, we'll not talk about all that here. But this is the reality. We have 4 more minutes. Anything else? Anybody wants to help?
Somebody asked a question, Prabhu. Who is considered a Siksha Guru in our tradition? What role does Siksha Guru play in our spiritual progress, especially in practicing day-to-day guidance?
Well, if you see, Prabhupada says there are three kinds of gurus. One is a Vartma Pradarshaka Guru, one who introduces you to Krishna consciousness, one who guides you a little bit and shows you the path. Like Prabhupada gives the example of Dhruva Maharaj's mother, Suniti. Then the second is a Siksha Guru, one who gives instructions for your spiritual advancement, clears your doubts, gives you transcendental knowledge, helps you understand spiritual subject matter. That's a Siksha Guru. And then Prabhupada says the third is the Diksha Guru. Normally, the person who gives the maximum Siksha goes on to become the Diksha Guru, which is true in all our case. Maximum instructions, maximum knowledge, where do we get from? We get from Prabhupada only, reading Prabhupada's books. Some little bit here and there, some doubts we have, we go and ask our senior Vaishnavas and get clarity from them. So, Siksha Guru, Prabhupada says even the Vartma Pradarshaka Guru is sometimes referred to as Siksha Guru. Now, of these two kinds of Siksha Gurus, one is the Vartma Pradarshaka Guru and the actual Siksha Guru. Actual Siksha Guru, Prabhupada says in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, is as good as the Diksha Guru. So, that's a very high level, a pure devotee acting as a Siksha Guru. We are all Siksha Gurus, but on the platform of Vartma Pradarshaka Gurus. We may not be pure devotees. Definitely, I'm not a pure devotee. I'll never claim like that. But I may understand a little better than what a devotee who has joined, say, 6 months back understands. So I may be able to, show him a little better understanding of some areas where he may have a doubt. So then I act as a Siksha Guru for him in the sense of being a Vartma Pradarshaka Guru. That's all our role is. So there is a role for such Siksha Gurus in ISKCON movement because Prabhupada said all the GBCs and temple presidents have to play that role of Siksha Gurus for the devotees in their temples. Prabhupada said that if you have any doubt, you ask your temple president. If your temple president is not able to clarify your doubt, you ask your GBC representative. If he is not able to clarify your doubt, Prabhupada said, then even I cannot clarify what doubt you have. Meaning, these are Siksha Gurus. You have to take whatever doubts and all you want, you get clarified from them. As far as taking you back to Godhead, purifying you, taking your karma, all that the Diksha Guru, Prabhupada is doing. Plus, Prabhupada is giving you maximum amount of Siksha also. That's the way it is.
Some other devotee had his hand raised for Jagat Purusha Prabhu, I think.
We have 1 minute left. So can we quickly go through the question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please, my humble obeisances, Aglaya Srila Prabhupada. Thank you for the session, Prabhu. So, yeah, there's not, as you said, there's not really much time. I'm just curious. There were many decisions made that were very poor, as we all know, that didn't hold certain people accountable when they did egregious or even criminal acts. And I'm wondering, within the GBC, and I'm wondering, do you think that this in any way could play a role in our devotees bringing to light, like you said, on the internet or things like that, this part, right? Because there's a different part, which is, okay, what is guru and what is not guru, which is more philosophical in nature. But then there's practical things like Kirtanananda Swami being buried in a samadhi when he molested children and did racketeering and served time in jail and all of these things, which I don't see how anyone can defend. Like, I don't see how someone, let's say, like you said, is misguided. They can defend. They can say, okay, no, my guru is a pure devotee. All these things, whether it makes sense or not, they can at least defend it. But how can anyone defend such a thing? And would you think that that plays any role in this side of the argument, or does it not?
Well, it's like this. If you look historically, during the time Prabhupada was on this planet, in the history of ISKCON between 1966 and 1977, if we ask the question, were there incidences of crimes during that time, during Prabhupada's personal oversight of the movement, the answer is yes. There were crimes even at that time. people embezzled, people sold the temples. People sold the temples and took the money and ran away. People, engaged in illicit sex and these kind of things. So maybe murders didn't happen. Those kind of things may not have happened, but still, at least these kind of things have happened. So these are all in the category of individual fall downs. Individuals going astray, they did service for a few years, then they fell prey to their material desires or whatever. So those kind of things we are not so keen on focusing upon, because that can happen anywhere. It can happen it happened during Prabhupada's time. It is happening now also. Even in our camp, Krishna forbid, such kind of things may happen. It's possible. So individual fall downs are not things which need to be really focused upon. But of course, as you rightly said, if there is somebody committing, child molestation and things like that, and ISKCON is keeping quiet, then we have to raise a voice. But somebody has fallen, left, expelled, all those kind of things, it doesn't serve any purpose bringing up those points other than in the public maligning our own image. Our own image meaning the image of Prabhupada's movement. When we speak of philosophy, yes, the people do come to know that there is some dispute between two groups within the same movement. It is definitely not good for the organization, for the name of Prabhupada's organization. But still, philosophy is something which people understand that, okay, there will always be some here and there happening. It's been historically, we have seen how different spiritual organizations do split up on the basis of philosophical differences. So that people, it's a relatively minor thing in the minds of the people, so they don't feel too negative about the movement. But if we bring out all these criminal things which have happened, like Kirtananandas, Jaitirthas, Hansadutas, what all happened, then it'll only be, it'll harm us also, it'll harm them also. So it's my personal view. You may hold a different view. It is up to you. But in my personal view, it's not going to really serve any purpose. That's why you see all our communications, all our whatever we are putting out, we try to avoid attacking an individual. We attack the views, their philosophical points. That's all that we do. So that's my opinion.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate
Most welcome.
you taking the time and enlightening us like this. Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Dhanavad Pranam.
Sika Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.